27, 2017, presented by the good people here at sportsbookreview.com. It is a football Friday, one of my favorite days of the week, honing in on the weekend, getting you ready and set up. Big card today. Major League Baseball is on the docket tonight. NCAA football, NFL football weekend. We're going to have a lot of fun here. Every Friday, as you know, resident Friday host here, Drew Martin. He's going to be up here in just a few moments. We're going to talk a little college football, a little NFL football with him, and also, as I said, breeze through some Major League Baseball stuff tonight on the game. The Dodgers, obviously, in Houston, going to tee it up for round 3, as we would like to call it, down in Houston tonight. We're going to have some fun and talk over that game. But before we get into that, folks, just want to go over some business practices here at Sportsbook Review. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. We really appreciate it. All the support that we get there on Twitter, through Facebook Live, all that stuff, and YouTube as well. Thanks for checking out everything. SBRodds.com. Everything you need to check the line movements there, completely free of charge. Follow us on Twitter at SBR Sports Picks and also here on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please don't feel the need to do so. Absolutely hit that subscribe button there so we can certainly get you the alerts when we're going live. Come into the chat box, let us know how we're doing. Let's have some fun, and always the key, let's win a little bit of money here. But once again, welcome in. If you guys are just tuning in for the first time, about the halfway through the show, we're going to have CG Technologies Matt Holt join us here and go over some information to see where the books are lining up for this weekend, see if we can sneak in the back door and take some of his money right out of his wallet. We'll have a lot of fun with that. Matt's always a fantastic guest here. Don't want to waste any more time. Let's bring in Drew Martin at Drew Martin Bets on Twitter. You can see him all over the channel here at sportsbookreview.com. Drew, welcome in the show, buddy.
Donnie, happy Friday to you, man. Love the show. Excited to be here. We got, some World Series, some NFL to talk about, big Saturday college football. And what about the A's and C's tonight? Just ACC and AAC games. That's it for college football.
Yeah, no, we're going to check out a few things here. A lot of good stuff over the weekend. Overall in the card, Drew, I'm trying to find a little bit more value. Usually it's, some games pop out early in the week, 5 or 6 games. I did circle some there. So, there is a little bit, but I'm not generally in love with the card. I do see some spots where we can probably make some profit off of, but overall, not that impressed with the card. So I'm going to lean on you tonight with some information to see if you have some leans on some of these games. One good thing also, folks, is about when we do the Friday show here, it's sort of like, as they would say, the bet buffet over here. If you have a game you want us to go over, we can certainly bring it up here, go over the thoughts between myself and Drew. We'll have some fun, see if we can point you in the right direction, talk a little NFL. I love to talk NFL, so any one of those NFL games that pops up for you folks out there, just let us know. We can certainly go over it and see what we can win some money on. Penny Packer, Matthew Varnum, W.S. Licketh, Marco Lou, Dale 04, welcome into the chat box here. We'll have some fun. Wait for a couple more people to get in here, and then we'll really kick off the show. Why don't we, instead of, it is a football Friday. We like to say that around the networks here. Let's talk a little bit of Major League Baseball. 1-1 so far in the series, Drew. Series shifts down to Houston tonight, Minute Maid Park, 9:05, 9:06 on the rotation. It's going to be Darvish and McCullers. Great pitching matchup here. Pinnacle currently showing a -134 in the favor of the home team here, Houston Astros. Chris at -134. CG Technologies -140. Bet Online -133. Looks like the over-under opened up at 8.5, Drew. Now downshifted there to around 8, depending on where you're shopping at. Maybe 8.5 if you got some double juice out there. So some interesting stuff. Not really capping the game or going over it and breaking down the exact lineups. These are two really good baseball teams. Most people thought, mid-August, July, other than maybe the Nationals getting there, we all thought it was going to be the Dodgers and the Houston Astros making it into this series. And it has lived up to the hype. Game 2 was a lot of fun to watch. In the first game, Drew, took a little bit of a chunk on Clayton Kershaw. Won that. Game 2, little late inning heroics got me over the total. Tonight, I'm going to lean on the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight. It's not a real, hey, sabermetric game. Let me break this down. I just like the Dodgers getting, I don't even want to say points, getting the plus money tonight. Chris is at 121, took a little slice of Bet Online at plus 122 a little bit earlier today. I'm going to lean on the Dodgers tonight. You got any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, let's make a consensus. I like the plus price underdog as well. I like the Dodgers here. We got Yu Darvish pitching in a park where he's had a lot of success. I believe he's 4-1, of 2.5-ish ERA. I believe Correa and Altuve, right there in the middle of the Astros lineup, have really struggled against him. So if he can get, in 5th, 6th inning, keep the Astros at bay, and then we got their bullpen coming in after. I think the plus price on the underdog tonight, I think we can make a consensus, Donnie. I'm with you, liking the Dodgers tonight.
Yeah, and again, a lot of people reach out and say, "Hey, what's your feeling on the game tonight?" I mean, these teams are so good. It's hard to find when you line up the two best teams and they're evenly matched, two good pitchers on the mound, two lineups out there. You try to find some ins and outs, but sometimes, no matter what you're trying to look at, it doesn't really equate. Two really good baseball teams. I'm just taking it down, Drew, to its simplest form. Give me the plus money tonight. I see it as a coin flip matchup. I'll take Darvish on the mound tonight. I think overall he's a better pitcher. I think overall, even though in game two it didn't really stack up that way, the Dodgers have the better bullpen. We all know Houston's at home, that little bandbox ballpark, 1 through 9. They're a really good lineup. I think the Dodgers can hang around in this one, and we'll see how it finishes up. But I'll take that plus money. Drew, any thoughts on the over-under in this one? Sitting at 8 at this point. It is a small ballpark, but I usually, try to take a step back when you have two really good strikeout pitchers with Darvish and McCullers. You have to make contact in order to hit a home run. But 8 seems like a little bit low number in that ballpark here.
Yeah, I do agree with you, especially with McCullers on the hill. Not that I think he's going to go get blown up or anything. It's just the younger arm. He is a strikeout guy, like you say, but not too far removed from his DL stint. So how many pitches are they really going to put on him? I know it's the World Series, but you bring up the small ballpark as well. It makes me hesitant to go towards the under. I've liked the under in pretty much every game the World Series has had. I just think that playoff pitching can dominate, and we've seen it year in, year out. But in this ballpark with McCullers on the hill, I'm not sure how deep he gets. So I'm not involved in the total tonight, Donnie.
Yeah, no, I'm not really involved in that as well. I'm just going to take a lean on the Dodgers, and then you're going to match up tomorrow night, 8:20 Eastern time, first pitch. Wood and Morton are going to go on the mound for Game 4. And if you're not familiar, with the way baseball sets it up, it's a 2-3-2 series as opposed to most, major sports go 2-2, 1-1-1. So there's 3 straight games here in Houston. Theoretically, they can close it out and never have to go back to the go play the Dodgers. But in theory, that would mean 4 straight wins by the Houston Astros over the Los Angeles Dodgers. Not too sure that's going to happen. I think it's going to go back to LA. Would love to see Game 6, Game 7. Game 7 is always a lot of fun, regardless of what sport you have. Hockey, basketball. You're going to be tuned in when you're going to get down to a Game 7. So I'm actually rooting for that and hoping it gets there. We'll see if Kershaw is going to take the mound in Game 5. It could be a closeout situation in their end, but I don't see that either. I see them, one team's going to win 2 games here. I don't think it's going to be a three-way victory for anybody here down in Houston these games. Looking forward to it. It's a lot of fun, but as I said again, Drew, it's Friday. We want to talk some football out here. We'll get to some games. Obviously, being the closing line, we want to get to the topics that are hot tonight. And in football here, 111, 112, Drew, an 8 o'clock Eastern time start. You're going to have Florida State and Boston College. Line opened up around 3.5 if you're looking between Pinnacle and Chris. Line's now creeping up. You're getting 6.5 pretty much across the board, depending on where you shop at here. I did see that line after it even opened up through a 3.5. There was some minus 2.5s out there for Florida State. That line has steadily increased throughout the week. I know Boston College has played well. I know they can play with teams, but it's at that point now, Drew, where it's 6.5, 6. I'm not really too interested in the ball game. I don't have a wager down, but if you're going to give me Florida State at 3, 3.5, somewhere in that range, I was leaning towards taking Florida State. Now that line's really crept away, I don't have much on this football game to find some, somewhere to dig on or pick off the bone. And I'm not just going to take Boston College just because they're getting more points now at this point. Doesn't make sense to me. I don't have much of a read here. If it was lower, I would be on Florida State.
Yeah, at this point, this price point, and you could almost have a class in as far as line movement in this game, Donnie. Florida State, you bring up the 3-ish number with Chris and Pinnacle, which is more of I guess you could say, a better starting point. But if you go back to early on Sunday, BOL opened this -8 for Florida State. So it's jumped under 3 and now back up to 6.5. I actually, I do kind of like the Eagles in this game. Being at home, it's getting, colder weather up there? You would know better than me. Maybe you can touch on that. But you're getting a bunch of Florida kids up there having to lay points. And Donnie, I'll tell you this, a young quarterback on the road going against, a pretty solid defense. If they get behind, it could spell trouble for, laying points for the more talented team, but on the road, Boston College. This is a huge game for them. It's not a standalone, but a weeknight game. The ESPN camera's there. I would look for Boston College to have a lot more of the enthusiasm going into this game rather than the Seminoles, who had playoff hopes at the beginning of the season. Those have gone way out the window, Donnie.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation because Florida State's not used to being here, and you're just looking, old school Florida State versus Boston College. You would definitely lean towards Florida State, obviously being the far superior team. If you line up each one of these players, talent for talent, Florida State clearly has the better team, but something's amiss with this football team. And I joked about it even in the offseason, even as the season opened up. Jimbo Fisher always got that genius, oh man, look at how well he recruits. Two things happened to him. He got a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback with Jameis Winston, and he got, to me, college football's version of, and this is, you can rank whoever you want in the past decade. Dalvin Cook was so unbelievable as a college football player that no matter what Jimbo Fisher called, 3rd and 15 on your own 10-yard line, hand it off to Dalvin Cook, and he might take it to the distance at any time. He was one of the more amazing running backs that I've seen. And last year, Drew, my moniker was, if you take Dalvin Cook off of Florida State, they're a 500 football team. I got laughed at all over Twitter. What, are you kidding me? Look how talented they are. Look at this year, under 500 without Dalvin Cook. He was that big of a difference over his past years at Florida State. One of the best running backs I've seen. It's a shame because he didn't even get enough hype for Heisman Trophy. Every time you turned on the tape, Dalvin Cook was the best player on the field and could bail you out of any situation. He's no longer there for Florida State. So now Jimbo's offense, hey, what am I going to do out here? Hand it off to Dalvin Cook. No longer available, and that's why they're struggling here, Drew.
Yeah, I mean, Dalvin Cook used to just kill people last year. You're right. I mean, Great point, especially at the running back position in college football, the way that they can kind of take it over, just giving it to him. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I mean, and I'm checking the weather right now. Looks like
it's like 50 degrees and clear. Yeah, not too bad. But 50 degrees for the South Florida kids might as well be minus 50 degrees.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, nobody in high school south of Orlando plays in many football games under 60 degrees. So that is true, but it's nothing to kind of put your money just on for the weather. I just, young quarterback on the road. I might want to wait for sevens though, Donnie. It's right there at the key number, -6.5. No sevens are popping up, which I'm sure when every book's at -6.5, that means nobody wants to go to the 7. There might be a reason behind that. So if sevens start to pop up, the Eagles is the side I would recommend.
Yeah, no, it should be fun. I mean, I would lean, again, I don't have any play on a 6.5 is a ridiculous line of how far that's jumped up there. I thought that line would have been nice around like 4, so I will be stepping away from that. Next game up here tonight, Drew, 1:13, 1:14, 8 p.m. also Eastern time kickoff, Tulane and Memphis. Cold, windy, and a little bit of rain, or maybe a lot of rain in the forecast tonight for this Tulane-Memphis game. Line opened up around 10.5. Now sitting actually around 11. CG Technologies is showing up at 11.5. Sportsbook.com at -12. Do I think Memphis is the better football team? Yes, I do. But one thing you have to look at Tulane. I mean, Tulane stepped up in competition last week, and they got beat pretty bad. I mean, the final score not indicative of how much South Florida was up at that point. A couple late touchdowns to close the gap. But now you're going against a Memphis team that obviously is going to push the football downfield. The one thing that's interesting, though, Drew, is Tulane is that type of tough team that can give Memphis problems on defense because Memphis is more of a finesse team. Hey, hopefully we can get off the field. Let's get back to our offense. Tulane can churn that clock, run that read option down the field. I don't know if they can step up in class and actually beat Memphis, but it's kind of interesting that you're going to play this football game in a cold rain when Tulane really wants to keep it on the ground, and that line is climbing up 10.5 as you see. Pinnacle showing plus money, -11.5. CG Technologies again at 11.5. What are you thinking about this game here, Drew?
Yeah, Donnie, this is a real interesting one that we definitely need to ask Matt Holt about because what's up with this weather issue and money's still coming in on Memphis? And keep in mind, Memphis is a little beat up in their front 7, and going against an option attack like Tulane is not something where you want to be beat up front. Weather-wise, it definitely helps Tulane. However, there is extra preparation time involved in this with Memphis played Houston more than 7 days ago. So they do get a couple extra days to prepare for the option offense. But I think weather-wise, it matters more, and it helps Tulane. And you bring up, Tulane's defense. They got some big boys up front. They can hold their own. Memphis isn't going to be able to just bulldoze over them. Now, however, Riley Ferguson, he's going to get his, especially if the wind, rain isn't too bad. However, keep in mind, he struggled against ULM early in the season in that rain, wind that happened in Memphis. I believe it was the first game of the season. If it's that bad of weather, I would definitely look to bet on the green wave. I haven't seen an actual live footage of the Memphis stadium to see how bad the weather is. But like you say, rain and wind in the forecast. I actually disagree with this line move, Donnie, and I would look towards the green wave. However, I haven't bet it yet.
Yeah, it's going to be rain. The interesting thing is it is going to be rain, but also you're in the mid 40s. That's cold. I mean, when you get wet out there, that's cold. That's not like you're sitting down in New Orleans or down in South Florida and you get the rain and it's 78 degrees and humid. I mean, that's going to be a cold weather football game for these two teams. I want to see how they, act up and react to it, because this will be the first, time that they're probably going to get in that mid 40s. I know playing with Memphis, they've played in the rain before. I get that, but this is that first little cold spell that we're seeing, especially a little bit down south. It'll be interesting to see how they come in there and see what happens on that one. But no, I would agree with you. By the way, I see a couple things popping up in the chat box here, Drew, talking about the Houston Astros game. A little bit of side, action. I would like to say there is one promotion from a guy with a furniture store that if the Houston Astros win the World Series, that if you bought, furniture through a couple months, I didn't see the exact part about it, that he is going to, that you get your money back. So let's just say you paid $1,500 for a couch and you bought it in May when that promotion was running. If they win the World Series, you get that couch for free. They reimburse you. I've seen that done quite a bit there. It sounds kind of harsh. You're like, oh my God, this furniture guy, he's going to be out of business. But they use it as a promotion and have a side company. Obviously, if you played golf before, a hole-in-one, there's a lot of insurance that goes into if you win that car where, hey, I'll pay you $350 in insurance in case that car hits, which usually nobody gets it, but every once in a while it happens. Same thing with the insurance company there. You can set aside like $5,000 or $10,000 policy that says if the Astros do win the World Series, even though you have to pay all that money, the insurance company picks it up for you, because a lot of the times you're taking a long shot there where they actually don't win it. So it's a great promotion. Everybody buys their furniture, but they insulate themselves by taking out an insurance policy just in case it happens. Kind of interesting there, isn't it?
Yeah, Donnie, the businessman, knowing what's behind all this, man. Or if it's a small enough business and I guess a sketchy enough dude, he can just close up shop and
going
head
out of business. Yeah. You always see that too at like the bridal companies. Like if you're getting married, like I showed up and it just said, we were closed and my dress is stuck in there. You see that all the time with the fly-by-nights, but they get the huge promotion off of this, which is worth more than all that. But they also back it up, obviously, because you could just drain yourself. Imagine like a car dealership, like a Honda dealership. Like, hey, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, all cars are free, and they sold like 340 cars. Like they would be bankrupted overnight, but all of that's factored into how much they would pay. But also it's very good exposure. You're going to get people to go out there like, hey, we need a couch anyway. If they win the World Series, we get the couch free. It's a great thing to go over in a promotion. So kind of interesting to see how they do it. Second part about this Houston game, Drew, that I do want to talk about here is, I was joking around today. You see all the stuff coming out with the Houston Texans today. The owner says instead of asylum, I've worked in a million places. The ownership uses the same terms. Like, we're not going to let the inmates run the asylum. Well, he uses criminals, and everybody gets all flustered out there in this snowflake society. But that's another story here. But taking a look, who is going to throw out the first pitch tonight in Houston? Do you know, Drew?
I do not know. No.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Nope. It would be a great one to go Jeff Bagwell. It would be great to go Biggio, right? It would be great to go Nolan Ryan, one of the old 80s guys that played down there. It's none other than J.J. Watt is going to throw out the first pitch tonight, right?
I love that. That's awesome.
Yep, you love it. It's awesome. And all I say to myself is, dude just had surgery for a broken leg and a busted up knee, right? So he's going to throw out the first pitch. Now, I'm going to put on my hat right now, theoretically, because I'm a known hater of J.J. Watt. So you could take all this with a little bit of salt in this. So would it put it past you if, like, I don't know, he's coming out of the dugout and he has like crutches and he's like, you know what? Get rid of these crutches. I want to show these people how strong I am. And he like hobbles out to the mound tonight and he winds up and he throws the pitch. And the best part about it's going to be, is I already put it on Twitter, is he going to be wearing like, a Houston Astros jersey and hat? Is he going to wear like a Texans hat? Something Houston, maybe like Houston Fire Department hat? Or my odds-on favorite tonight, Drew, will he be wearing his own logo hat tonight just to put himself out there and make this a me event? What's your thoughts on that?
Ooh, that's an interesting one there. And I don't know. I haven't read enough about him personally to see like what kind of guy he is. I actually didn't even know you had a negative feeling towards the guy, but that makes me think he's more of a me guy. So I might set the favorite at his own logo there.
Yeah, no, I almost can. I wish I could bet on it. Like, I'm not going to come on from CG Technologies. I really hope that there was some other prop bet out there, because there's no doubt in my mind he's going to wear a J.J. Watt logo hat. Every time, like, you could say what you want. He does great things around the city, raises a lot of money. And then I see out here, like on the TV screen, it'll say, like, J.J. Watt's going to decide where that money goes. Great. Fantastic. Hope it goes to the right places. But every single video you saw of J.J. Watt when he was helping everybody out, when the Texans players came in, they all had Texans gear on. When, the police came in, had all their garb on. Everybody loves J.J. Watt. But J.J. Watt, every press conference, every video had a J.J. Watt logo hat on his head. Come on, J.J. That's my 5 minutes of J.J. Watt right there. Yeah.
Hey, Chris Lomas is chiming in. He threw an 85-mile-per-hour pitch his last time throwing the first pitch. If that's pretty impressive. But
I want to see it. I want to see if he takes it real serious because you see some people go out there 55, 60, just lob it over the plate. I want to see if he takes it serious, and maybe he doesn't throw it right, and he's like, hold on. Let me get that back and try again. Let's see if he tries to do one of those things tonight for us. Right?
Donnie, have you ever done one of those? I had to do one for a little, kind of like an off-season camp that they were doing in Atlanta, and it was my birthday. Yeah. I threw out the first pitch. It's pretty nerve-wracking, man. I wasn't worried about the miles per hour. I was just worried about getting it over and not bouncing it, like George Bush style. It's pretty nerve-wracking, though, so it's a tough one.
No. You know what? You're right on about that because it's the same thing. Throwing a football is a little bit different. You just had to catch with somebody. Everybody's standing up. But when you get on the mound and you have to throw the first pitch, the only thing crossing your mind is, look, I don't want to bounce it. I don't want to throw it over the fence. Just let me get it there. And I could see how you would first or second time through, you're going to tense up and, you duck it and it goes to the left or the right. I can see that. So the people that go out there and throw the pitches that mess it up, it's a lot of funny stuff. But most people are so damn nervous getting out there on the mound. I can see it, man. I certainly can see it.
Yeah, and you can't bounce it or else you look like a pussy. So that's what you really got to know.
No, you can't. You can't bounce it. You can't throw it to the side. You can't go out there. And again, the best part is when you see the NBA player go out there, a player who doesn't play baseball, you're like, how the hell is that guy one of the best athletes in the world? And he can it looks like he can throw it 10 feet and has no form whatsoever. Those are the ones that always make me laugh. That guy's a great athlete, and he looks like he can't throw it 5 feet. Yes, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, man.
But no, a lot of fun there. That's just my J.J. Watt. And I can't even believe somebody brought it up. I was just going out on Twitter saying, how can J.J. Watt make this about him? And then somebody's like, you do know he's throwing out the first pitch tonight. I'm like, you know what? That just made my day, man. Just made my day absolutely out there. So we'll keep it on. We'll see what but that adds fuel to the fire. So we'll watch tonight. And I really want to see, I usually don't give a damn about the first pitch or any heroics there. I want to see if J.J. Watt maybe does gassers in the outfield to show people how tough he is, that his knee is already healed when it's supposed to take a year, but it only took 3 weeks. I want to see that, but I also want to see the hat that he wears tonight to see if it's his own logo hat. Let's keep it moving tonight, Drew. Game 3 tonight in NCAA football, 115-116, Tulsa, SMU. Looks like about 79% of the wagers coming in on SMU, the home team here. Looks like it's holding firm. Pinnacle opened up at 10. Chris opened up at 10. All across the board, holding at 10 over under this one, 75.5. What gives here, Drew? Looks like offense is going to be the norm tonight. SMU, I'm always a big fan of their offense. They can throw it down the field, big-time wide receivers, good running game this week. Tulsa, from in the past, one of those teams that like to air it out and run fast, but now more of a running fast team. What are we looking at here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't liked Tulsa all year. I've been kind of fading them the last couple. I just think the president kid, I think he sucks. I know that they've been playing the skipper kid a little more. He's okay, but still Tulsa offensively, this is not the same Tulsa offense of years past. SMU, on the other hand, their quarterback's really getting it together. He can throw it pretty good. I haven't dug deep into what happened against Cincinnati, who I'm not real high on. I mean, just a 3-point game. Granted, it was on the road. They also just lost to Houston, which didn't look too good. But other than that, I mean, I think SMU offensively has been pretty good. No way I'm betting Tulsa tonight. I would get there. I mean, money has already pushed up SMU pretty high now, over double digits. Yeah. But I'll tell you this also, Donnie. Looking at the total up over 75.5, you mentioned that they've been going fast on the ground. But Tulsa offensively just hasn't been impressive. So it makes me think to get up to the mid-70s, a lot has to go right. And I do think SMU can score, but Tulsa, on the other hand, man, I don't trust them to do their part to get up damn near 80. So I don't agree with this line move towards the over. I would actually lean under in this one.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're right. When you look at 76, can both of these teams hit it? Yes. But all it takes, Drew, we've seen it many times as gamblers. Give me one 8-play, 6-minute drive. Give me one play where it's 1st and goal to 2 and you fumble it and the other team gets it back. One, missed extra point, which we've seen many times come back to haunt you. Everything does have to go right. So it would be interesting. It's hard to take an over 76. I mean, I don't, anywhere near, that 74, 75, 76 or higher, it has to absolutely click. Can both of these teams run fast and do it? Yes, absolutely they can. But you're right. It's going to take a perfect game in order to do that. So we'll see what happens here. In just a few moments, we're supposed to hear from CG Technologies' Matt Holt. We'll wait for him to get on the line. But if he does not appear, Drew, I think we'll be all right to carry the show here. You think so?
Yeah, man. I mean, how's your back feeling? I might have to jump on it a little bit with the NFL talk.
You know what? Maybe we should, instead of getting Matt Holt on the line, maybe somebody down there at SBR can make a phone call down to Houston. We can get J.J. Watt on the line tonight, and we can talk to him to see what's going on in his life. Maybe he can do some push-ups for us live or, show us, the scars on his knee. Yeah.
Speaking of that, what's the over-under on Matt Holt push-ups? Would you take over under 22.5?
I might have to go under on that. You know what I mean? Like, seems more like, we're stuck behind a desk all the time. Maybe we can't get out and, work out. He's got the kid. He's always at the game. He's always buying, like bagels and stuff, high carbohydrates. I question it. I question if he could do the 22.
Man, I don't know. That's a good one to ask him. Let's put him on the spot with that. I might go over.
When he comes on. When we have to put out a line and see if he can get through it or do it in that respect there. Drew, Saturday, obviously a big college football card here all across the country. I don't actually like a lot of these football games gambling wise, but I'm going to be interesting. Like the Penn State game, obviously with Ohio State. That's going to be an interesting one. One game I want to look at, I always like to talk with you, Miami Hurricanes football, 129-130. Canes going on the road. It looks like Chris is up to 21, CG Technology 21, Bet Online at 20.5. That's an interesting game to look at because on its face, North Carolina is a trash can right now, a hot mess, on fire dumpster that nobody's putting the fire out right now. Everybody's hurt on the team, bad quarterback play, bad coaching. It's all bad right now in North Carolina. You look at Miami Hurricanes coming in a top 10 ball club, 6-0, but the MO of the Hurricanes is not to blow teams out because they're not that explosive team. It's almost like you want to get out there, play really good defense. We'll let the chips fall in offense. We'll hand the football off. We'll rip off some chunks here, and we'll score, but we're not blowing anybody away. What is your instinct on this game, or do you even have a play on this game sitting at 21 with the Canes on the road here, heading up to Chapel Hill to Keenan?
No, I don't have a play, Donnie. I mean, I think this number, it's a tricky handicap. It's a tough one for a lot of the reasons you just said. I mean, North Carolina, for me, has just been a tough read because I actually think Larry Fedora has, he's not a great coach, but I think he could be a good coach. What he was able to do at Southern Miss, I was really a big fan of. I thought that he would have more success at UNC, and he has in the past. It's just this year they lost a lot, man. So, but being at home, catching 3 touchdowns, and you touched on it. I mean, Miami isn't built to kind of blow people out. They're a hell of a good Miami team. They've improved a lot. But, I'm not ready to lay 3 touchdowns with the Canes. At the same time, I'm not looking to bet UNC, so I passed on this one, man.
No, I can't fault you there. If I'm taking a wager in this game, I love the Hurricanes, but I'm going against them again. Do they win the football game for me, Drew? Yes. Do they win it by a touchdown or more? Probably so. But you're also looking at after getting 21. That means if it's 28 points in the fourth quarter, maybe North Carolina can put something together. I know they're at home. Maybe they have one last stand and say, hey, ranked teams coming into the ballpark. We'll see what happens on this one. But, I don't have too much of a feel other than with Miami at this point to lean on those taking the points in the opposite direction. Any other games you want to look at, Drew? We'll check out some of these on the chat box that come up in a few moments. You have your eye on one of these games, or?
I have my eye on a game and also a kind of betting philosophy here that I want to get your opinion
on.
It. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, Buffalo, Akron. And actually, it's going to be the first game on the card tomorrow. It's 11:30 Eastern start. So we know the quarterback issues with Buffalo. I followed it very closely because I think they're a bet-on team if Anderson's going to play, or Tyree Jackson, even though I think Drew Anderson is the better quarterback. But if this Van Treese kid's playing quarterback, it flips it to the point where I'm looking to fade them. And I've read pretty much all the press clippings, and there was one out of the Buffalo newspaper there that said Tyree Jackson was starting to throw the ball at practice. That's the most positive thing I've seen towards either of those two quarterbacks getting playing time. Sure enough, I go on Don Best. It says he's probable. So do they have better information? Possibly. But are they using that tidbit right there of he's throwing the ball in practice to make it look like he's probable? And sure enough, we've seen a 3-point line move since Don Best put that out a couple hours ago. What's your thinking on that?
Yeah, it's funny in this game, Drew. I hit the gym in the morning. I always have my phone out. I'm always on Twitter. I watch usually the odds couple while I'm in the gym. Chime in on the chat box, see what's going down. So I see that immediately. You didn't hear anything. The past 3 weeks. All of a sudden, boom, probable starting quarterback for Buffalo, Tyree Jackson. So I'm saying to myself, damn it, I'm in the gym. I'm not at my desk. I can't, filter through and see these lines move because you're looking at 4.5s out there, and that's rightfully where it would be if you're going to have Vantrease start. Anderson, by the way, is going to be out for the year, Drew, with his shoulder injury, so he's not going to make any more appearances there for Buffalo. So the second thing, I'm trying to surf the web when I get home, and I see the line, it's 3.5 at Bet Online. I'm like, you know what? Plus 3.5 for Buffalo. I think I like that, but I'm trying to check into some other things. I'm even opening up other sports books, going through to see if those lines, because the line service I have, sometimes when the lines get taken down, like my actual, locals line got taken down. They didn't even want to have any action on the game. The line wasn't available. Some were showing 5, 4.5 out there. They weren't out there. They were already gone. So I wanted to do my research before I did anything. And I was actually surprised to see when that line actually flipped completely over to Buffalo, because here's the problem that you have, and especially in the MAC. Vantrease, say what you want. I mean, he was okay in his last 2 starts. He can throw the football. They let him throw 40 times in the last game. So it's not like for lack of effort where they're saying, like Mitch Trubisky, we want you to throw the ball 3 times tomorrow and try not to hurt us. They were letting the kid throw it all over the ballpark. And Akron, not the greatest football team. But getting back to your original point here is when you go and do the research here, you're right with Jackson. Jackson, is Cam Newton of the MAC, if you want to put that guy in, if you never saw the kid play. 6'5", 6'6", 220, 230, 240, a big kid. He works off the read option. Buffalo's a very good principled team on the read option. But the question I have, Drew, is what are you getting out of him? If you're going to put him in the game where he has a hamstring injury like Marcus Mariota does, that means all right, well, you're going to play because you're better than this guy, but we don't want you to get hurt. We're going to call short passes, slants, stay in the pocket, don't run. That's not being effective with the kid. Now, second overall, you have no idea because I read a beat writer a little bit later in the afternoon, and what's he saying, Drew? Tyree Jackson's going to be on the flight to Akron. So I'm saying, all right, he's going to be on the flight. So now with Anderson out for the year, does that mean he's probable, meaning we don't want him to play, but Vantrease is going to start, and if for some reason he gets hurt, he can go in the game and operate somewhat, a little bit limited out there, but we actually don't want him to play, but yes, he is probable. You don't get that information like you would get from the NFL, so I always throw caution to that. Now, with that line swing the way it is, you can't tell me that there's, embedded people like, oh my God, I saw Tyree Jackson looks absolutely amazing at practice. This came out of nowhere. No beat writers coming up with it. So I would take it as a grain of salt. Somebody actually reached out to me a little bit earlier. One of the things I like about this game, Drew, is it's going to be on TV. It's 11:30 a.m. Whether or not it's going to be on ESPN, it's always, the MAC comes on ESPN3. You can log on and get it through your computer. How about watching the first drive? I'm like, yo, he looks really good out there. That made you lay the wood, because how bad would it be? He's like, you know what? I love Buffalo. He's going to play. And all of a sudden he comes out in uniform in pregame, and then they don't even have him in uniform when the game starts because they wanted to throw everybody off. And you got your money tied up in Buffalo with the freshman on the road again. Take a wait-and-see approach. If you like the game, wait till the game kicks off. If he looks really healthy in there, you're going to get a bargain. But if he doesn't play, that would suck to light your money on fire there, Drew.
No, yeah, great breakdown. I mean, I just brought it up because of the Don Best thing. And we saw it, a few weeks ago with the MTSU stock still. They upgraded him to probable. And I can remember researching because these are teams that, I follow their beat writers very closely, as I know you do. And I didn't see anything. It's just he threw the ball a couple times in practice. And then I'm thinking, these Don Best guys, just kind of throwing shit out there. And I'm thinking that may possibly be what's going on here in this line move. Is just people seeing Don Best change to probable when really I didn't read anything that said probable, but it's an interesting one to kind of look. And if he doesn't play, man, that's another kind of check mark next to Don Best, just kind of going too far in front with these probable moves, Donnie.
Yeah, no, and you're always going to get caught up there. If you're betting third string, fourth string quarterbacks, always makes it tough. I laughed last night. I didn't have a lot of money on the game, but I did take Toledo minus the 26.5. Looked a little shaky early, but some things come true when you try to play it out in your mind, where you're saying, all right, so we got a third string quarterback in the football game. First 2 guys basically are going to be done for the year. Miles has the arm, and I believe it was Neal who was out for the remainder of the year. Those 2 guys much better than the third stringer. So I'm saying to myself, and I'm going, you know what? We're one play away from seeing their fourth string quarterback, and damn sure doesn't happen, Drew, in the first quarter. Ankle twist from the quarterback. Your fourth stringer comes in. It was all downhill from the rest of that. I mean, Ball State's a bad football team as it is, and is talent bereft. Now you're going to add in the 4th-string quarterback, and Toledo just mowed right through them. So, again, in that situation with Buffalo and Akron, you're down your 3rd-string quarterback. It would be nice if Tyree Jackson comes back and he's 100% healthy. But you're right. How focused is he? Where's his timing at? Can he move around? Because I watched and I bet that football game where Tyree Jackson went down. That's a knee injury. And it's only been, 3-4 weeks since that knee's been injured, and he works off of his mobility. It'd be interesting to see where that comes up and goes over by. It doesn't look like we're going to get Matt Holt here on tonight. So we got about 10, 15 minutes into the show or back to the show. Drew, we'll spend a little bit of time here on the NFL. Did you have any games that you wanted to go over personally that you wanted to take a look at or had some questions on, or just have maybe a game recap on those?
No, you go ahead first, Donnie.
No, yeah, if we're taking there's a couple interesting games tomorrow and also on Monday that you want to take a look at. Keep in mind also a 9:30 a.m. start on the London game. That's going to be Minnesota and Cleveland. It's always funny to us, Drew. We make jokes about, we send our worst football teams, our worst football games over to the UK so they can see them. Deshaun Kaiser's going to get the start in that merry-go-round at quarterback. He'll probably start. Then we'll see Cody Kessler a little bit. Then we'll get a little bit of Hogan in there, and then we'll go back to Kaiser to see if we can fire it back up. Case Keenum's been a decent quarterback, but they're leaning on their defense in Minnesota. Interesting line, though. I mean, this is a neutral site, and you're laying almost double digits with the Minnesota Vikings. Are they the better team? Absolutely, they're the better team, but I don't know if I'm down with laying almost 10 points here, Drew, heading over to London in that game. How about you? See anything interesting in this Cleveland Browns game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same with you. I mean, to see the line move up towards 10, you can still get a 9.5. What a Chris, and especially with this total. So piecing them both together under 40, sitting at 38. I don't know. It's not projecting a lot of points, which means the spread value, as and the listeners know, becomes even that much more important. So when you start talking 9.5, touchdown in the NFL, that's a big number. So no, I'm not interested in that. At the same time, I'm not betting Cleveland. Easy pass for me, Donnie.
No, it is definitely. And by the way, Drew, some news of notes here. Just looking at my cell phone, just got a text. And it says 6 big college winners. I have 6 winners for Friday and Saturday. Join the big betting crew today. So if anybody out there wants to join the big betting crew, they do have 6 guaranteed winners for this weekend. But we'll take a look at some other games here in NFL action. Hey, one in Philadelphia here, 259-260. C.J. Beathard going to get another start in the NFL. And I don't know if that's actually a good thing or not, but we're going to go ahead and see what they're going to do against Philadelphia Eagles and Carson Wentz. Fresh off that Monday night beatdown of the Washington Redskins. Weather's going to be a problem here. Early in the week, that line sat at 47.5 on the total. Chris currently sitting at 45.5. Supposed to be rain all day. Possible some windy conditions here in Philadelphia, which doesn't bode well for San Francisco, because if you watched them last week with the rookie behind center, they were awful versus the Dallas Cowboys. I think they scored on maybe a 4th down play or a run late in the football game. Dallas just dismantled them from start to finish. Now they're going to come West Coast to East Coast here. The interesting thing also is I take a little bit of that into play. It's always harder where your body clock is a little bit off heading back to the East Coast, but you're looking at a football team that might be in a little bit messy conditions. How are they scoring? Like, where is San Francisco's points going to come from? The one thing I like about Carson Wentz, big kid in the pocket, he's going to be able to throw it. He is a scrambler, so if the pocket breaks down in the rain, he's going to be able to get out of the way. Where are the points, Drew, coming from the San Francisco 49ers in this game?
Well, I mean, they put up, 3 touchdowns against Indianapolis and Washington, Donnie. So I guess heading towards the East
But that also
Coast.
was with the majority of Hoyer playing quarterback in that one. Now you have the young kid, and you're just in, evaluation mode saying, let's not get this kid killed because I want to see what he's made of in the last 6 to 7 games of the season. It's an interesting thing because earlier, Drew, you're looking at a team, the 49ers, if they're 0-1, if they're 0-2, some tough victories. Hey, let's get them next week. You have your 4th loss. Well, hey, maybe if we can put together a 2-game win streak, we might be able to think about playoffs. Now your season is over. What are you actually playing for? It's a lot of points. I get it. Line's still sitting there 13. CG Technologies actually dropped it to 11.5. So they must be seeing a little bit of action that way. It's hard, especially in the rain, but I think the Philadelphia Eagles just run them over because I don't see, San Francisco just putting drives together against the Philadelphia Eagles defense.
No, I don't see it at all either. And that's what makes me think under. It's just a matter of, can San Francisco's defense kind of keep the Philadelphia offense at bay? If you think so, I mean, I like this under a lot, especially if weather is involved. I don't think that Philadelphia is going to get up to a lead and then just be tossing it around. So I lean under on this. I know the market's already moved it, about 2 points now from 47.5 down to 45.5. You just touched on it. But yeah, I like this under, especially if you think San Francisco defense can kind of stay motivated in this game in the bad weather.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny when you look. I mean, what are they going to do? Oh, let's hand it off to Hyde. You're like running into a brick wall when you play the Eagles. I mean, the front seven is ferocious against the run. So you say, all right, let's let the young kid throw it downfield. Okay, Pierre Garcon and Goodwin, and yeah, good luck with that. I mean, you saw it last week. I mean, the team is a train wreck, and again, you're shifting the focus now, saying, you know what, Hoyer made us a little bit competitive, but it doesn't matter anymore. He's not going to be our quarterback next year. Let's just see what the young kid C.J. Beathard has. You saw what he had last week. It's not going to get any easier on the kid. It'll be interesting to see where that line falls up, but I missed the line early in the week. I was talking to 47.5. I didn't want to fire on it because we all know the weather, Drew. Hey, really rainy, as of Tuesday on Sunday. But now it looks like it actually is going to be really rainy in this one. So we'll see what takes place. And again, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, this is a game that you're saying, let's not get anybody hurt in this one. Let's hand the ball off to LeGarrette Blount. Let's have some fun out here because the Niners shouldn't be that competitive in this ball game. Maybe a 27-10, something in that range. I could easily see the Eagles winning that way, but we'll see what happens in that one. I'll have a great feel because, again, when the rain and some weather conditions come in, it does take a little bit of luster off. But I just get back to, nice weather, bad weather. Where is San Francisco even going to move the football at? So we'll see what happens in that instance. Taking a look in one of those games, 267, 268, another good one. Houston and Seattle. Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson going to match up here going out to Seattle in this one. Seattle with a nice victory over the New York Giants, pulling my hair out. I had it last week, -3, -120, and at the half, 38 yards or whatever it was, 50 yards for the New York Giants. They were winning the football game, but thank goodness Seattle prevailed in that one, able to pick up that winner. But now going home, facing a game, Houston team off a bye week. Lines creeping up. Sportsbook.com just flashing a -7 in the favor of the Seattle Seahawks, which is interesting to me. They walked out of practice, and where's their head at? These guys are professionals. They're going to show up on Sunday. They're going to play football. If you're going to tell me that line's going to go from 5.5 to 7, I'll take the 7 because that's free money right there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, in Seattle coming off of back-to-back road games, heading back home. But, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, if it looks like you can get 7.5 right now, too, at 5 dimes. You got to pay heavy juice. But with the half a point in the NFL, that's the way I would go. So, yeah, I agree with you on the Houston train.
Yeah, and people like to read into a lot of stuff like, the locker room and, DeAndre Hopkins went home today. He's going to be on that plane. He's going to play football. They're not going to sabotage the game because of what their owner said or didn't say. They're going to be there to play, and that line sat at 5.5, 6. Now you're going to peak up to 7 because you think of some internal struggle that Houston's having. They're a pretty good football team. Seattle right now, you know how to get through them. Struggling on the offensive line. It's all about Russell Wilson. Can he make plays? Are they much better home team? Of course they are. They had the bye week. They come out and beat the New York Giants. But again, this is a fluid offense. If the Giants could have moved the football last week, Seattle would have been in trouble. Now you're going back home. You're playing a much better offense. You get Dwayne Brown back at left tackle in this one, so the line's going to be a little bit better. You have the weapons to try to go after that secondary. And when everything breaks down, you have a quarterback that's really athletic and can get out and move in the pocket. Not so much like an Eli Manning. So I'm going to wait on this line. If it's going to be 7, I don't care what that Houston locker room situation is. Give me the 7 points in that situation when it all lines up and down there for us. I saw in the Aces asking about the total in this football game. Over-under opened up at 43, now rising up 45.5, 46. It's a little bit out of the price range now where it's a slam dunk. You don't want to see it get to 47. That's always one of those key numbers that you don't want to cross off. I don't have a good feel really so much on the over-under, even though I think both of these teams can score. But, the Seattle defense at home, rookie going on the road to play in Seattle, not the easiest environment. I think they can hang around in the football game, but I don't have much of a feel on the total there. Do you, Drew, at all?
No, Donnie, I don't have a bet on it or a feel really, but if you're ready to move on, I got a game I'm interested in your opinion on.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Let's do it.
Yeah,
sure.
We got 2 teams kind of haven't looked good in recent weeks. We got Carolina and Tampa Bay. Are you taking a couple points with Carolina under a field goal? Pretty much pick the winner here in this NFL game, or laying it with the home Tampa Bay Bucks?
It's a great game, and it's a great chess match here on which way you want to go, because this is one of the games I have circled. I'm going to break it down and try to get to where I want to get to in this game. You're down a couple starters on the Tampa Bay defense. We already know, Drew, Tampa Bay is an absolute train wreck on defense. Thought they would be much better. Hargreaves is a straight bust. The first-round draft pick out of Florida last year. He can't play. Now, Grimes is going to be out for this football game. Another DB also. You're down a couple guys on the defensive line. The one thing that you have to look at, though, from a Tampa Bay perspective, on offense, they still have a lot of weapons. They're healthy on offense. The one thing I like about Jameis Winston, say what you will, when he's in a football game, he's always going to be competitive in that game. No matter what goes on in the game, he's always going to come out firing, good attitude, keep it pushing forward. And as I say, they say, most quarterbacks are like that. That's the way they hang out. But On the opposite side, you have Cam Newton. When everything's going great, like go back to the Super Bowl run, winning every single week. They're taking the team, picture photo on the sidelines, joking it up, having a lot of fun. And the minute they get slapped in the Super Bowl, he goes into his, I'm going to take my ball and go home. Well, you see that when the when the Carolina Panthers are not playing well or things aren't going his way in football, he's the type of guy that checks out and says, you know what? I don't feel like playing today. Sure, I'll go out there. I'll just throw it all over the place. And whether or not it connects, it's an interception or touchdown, doesn't matter to me. I'm checking out. And he seems to be in that mode because if Cam Newton is playing Cam Newton football, I like the Panthers in this spot because you're going to get back your middle linebacker, Luke Kuechly. You're a better overall defense, obviously, than what Tampa Bay is. If you look at the Bears game last week, was it the defense, even without Luke Kuechly's fault in that one? Two special teams touchdown on that one, two defensive touchdowns, lead to the 17 points. The defense was rock solid. I think they're going to bring their defense down there. But can you trust Cam Newton going out there being like, I don't give a damn if I'm here or not or if we win? That's hard to bet on in the NFL, even though I'm trying to build a case for the Carolina Panthers. I think they're overall the better football team here. They're going to bring the defense. Tampa Bay is not. But which Cam Newton am I getting in this one, Drew?
Yeah, it's a hard thing to realize. You bring up the Super Bowl thing, and right in the beginning, you could just tell he had that pouty face on the sidelines. Man, it was just fade city on them from there. That was a great point. But you could use the philosophy as well. I mean, Tampa Bay's defense hasn't been all that great, so possibly looking for him to be bounced back against, not as fierce of a defense may be the route to take. But again, it's almost like you're catching the fallen knife doing that trick. So not sure that I would get there, but if he does have, a bounce back performance, maybe betting on Cam Newton against weaker defenses in the NFL could be a profitable route going forward.
No, it definitely should be a fun one. Usually every week, I should say this. I'm usually more passionate about the NFL than college football, but there are a couple shots there that we can hit on. Never were able to catch up today on the show with CG Technologies' Matt Holt, so we'll save that up. We'll usually get him on the show on Monday, see where the games went, and see where some of that money was creeping back around. But Drew, that's about all the time we have tonight. I do like to give out a play here, typically on the closing line. It's been pretty good yesterday with Teddy Covers. I gave out Toledo minus 26.5. That one covered. I'm going to lean on again tonight, but we're going to go baseball here. I'm going to go with the Dodgers with a plus 122. Have a little McDonald's money on that game tonight. Drew, you got any winners you want to give out there to the people tonight, or what maybe they can look forward to?
Damn, man, I'm waiting for a 7 on Boston College. Not getting it right now. Maybe in the next 5 minutes, with these weekday games, you can get a good movement. But I guess I'm
going to Drew, come on. I'm going to teach you an old school tout trick right here. Say, look, my local gave it to me at 7, and that's the end of the story. So you can have your 7 if you want it.
Nah, Donnie, I'm not going down that route. I appreciate you giving me that opportunity, but I will take the 6.5. Looks like reduced juice right now, so I'll take BC plus 6.5. Even though my local down in South Atlanta is showing a 7, I'll back off of that, man.
Yeah, all right. So we'll go with that. I'm going to go Dodgers tonight for a little bit of money. Drew's going to lean on the BC Eagles tonight for some fun. And, the weekend is here. Tomorrow's put up or shut up time for us in the injury tree. Same with Sunday. I'm rested. I'm ready to go here for us. I don't appear on camera tomorrow. The only time, out of the 6 days that I don't come on the air, it's family time for me tomorrow. I'm going to watch some college football, enjoy it, and then get right back to work here with Gabe on Sunday. Do the closing line, also the halftime show, and then come on with the big man on campus to set you up for the night show. A lot of fun happening around the channels. Once again, folks, check out SBRodds.com. Check out at SBR Sportspicks on Twitter. Go to YouTube. Give us a subscribe down there. Like it, dislike it. Just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Let us know that you're live out there and breathing. Also, if you haven't picked out a sports book yet, what do we do here at sportsbookreview.com? We are your guardians in this industry. If you have any problems or complaints, reach out to us there. If you go to the website, sportsbookreview.com, all the sports books are listed there and rated A+, A-, A. Who's paying out quicker, who's not paying out, whose bonuses are here. That is what we're here for in this industry, folks. So if you have any questions with that or do want to sign up through a sports book, that's what we do to keep this content free and available for you. I do want to thank Drew Martin for joining us again on Friday. He'll be here every Friday right through football season. Check him out at Drew Martin Bets. Does a lot of good stuff here around the channels. For the closing line, October 27, 2017, presented by SportsbookReview.com. I was your host today, Donnie Rightside, and also with SportsbookReview.com. We hope we help you on your wagers, cover the closing line, win some money this week, folks, and come tell me about it on Monday morning. Have a good weekend, folks. Take care.